Hello and welcome to CNN's special coverage of the devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria. I'm LYNDA KINKADE. Richard Quest is on assignment. Just ahead on CNN Newsroom, teams of rescue workers race to free survivors of Monday's devastating earthquake as aid organizations say much more help is needed. And facing an election next year, the US president prepares to address the nation. Also, Germany's defense minister visits Kyiv, promising more tanks. Well, the quake's death toll is rising as searchers race to find victims within the rubble. More than 7,000 people across Turkey and Syria have now died, and the Turkish president has declared a 3-month state of emergency. Crews are digging through thousands of collapsed buildings to find any signs of life. Aftershocks and winter weather are making that effort even harder and more urgent. In many parts of Turkey, temperatures tonight are expected to drop below freezing. Nearly 2 full days later, and people are still hopeful for moments like this. Images showing crews rescuing a young girl in Hatay, Turkey, 24 hours after the quake. Well, in GAZIANTEP, near the earthquake's epicenter, CNN witnessed as workers asked for quiet so they could listen for people in the rubble. Crews said they heard the voices of at least 3 people. CNN's Becky Anderson is in GAZIANTEP and joins us now live. You have been there, Becky, hour after hour. I've been watching as you've been waiting to hear whether rescuers are reaching anyone under that rubble behind you. Just bring us up to speed with the latest.
Yeah, Linda, this is one of those thousands of buildings that has simply collapsed after that 7.8 magnitude earthquake, the biggest this region has seen in nearly 100 years. And it was here at that site that call for silence was made some hours ago. There were signs of life. The rescue teams here believe that they had heard 3 separate people in what they believe is a void underneath this rubble. But I'm afraid since we've been here, despite those calls for silence, unfortunately, nobody has been pulled out alive. At one stage, they put up a white sheet as a mark of respect, and I'm just moving away from what is a huge digger coming in behind me, a mark of respect when a body was actually pulled out from behind us. I'm just going to let this digger go past. You can understand this is a live search and rescue site, not yet recovery, which is a good thing, which means that there is still hope that people have survived this, but obviously that hope is running out. It is bitterly cold. It's -1, -2, could go as low as -6 tonight. It was that cold at 4:15 in the morning on Monday when this quake struck. So you're seeing a lot of movement here. These are JCB diggers, and they are effectively now going in and clearing out some of the debris. What's happening on the site just beside me to my left, I'm afraid, is the utter devastation of an entire building as well. And as we understand it there, the teams who are sort of beginning to wind down the search and rescue believe there may be as many as 100 people caught underneath the rubble, and they are getting no sign of life from that site there at all. Linda, there has been an enormous response, international response, to the appeals for help, both here in Turkey and in Syria. Over 70 countries now sending in search and rescue equipment and teams, emergency supplies. We were with one of the deployments from the UAE. Monday they sent 3 C-17s, and they've been sending flights ever since. They are in the midst of setting up a field hospital. The Emiratis are setting up a field hospital about 100 kilometres from here. I jumped on that flight. They brought us into GAZIANTEP with that aid, and I just want you to see part of that journey. The international response came quick and fast from all corners of the world. The Emiratis sending 3 C-17 cargo planes Monday, carrying assistance to those who need it most in the quake-stricken area. My team boarded one of those flights, headed to the hard-hit epicenter in southern Turkey. This flight carrying 22,000 kilos of aid. These are all medical supplies: surgical isolation gowns, latex gloves, alcohol prep swabs. What else have we got around here? Intravenous infusions, and there is more to come before we take off around about 1 o'clock in the morning, which is about 45 minutes from now. There's also a couple of huge vehicles on here. Let me just take you down. This is a rescue vehicle. Both of these, as I understand it, are from the Dubai police. All of this on its way to Adana, where it will be deployed where it is needed most. The UAE establishing a field hospital, sending search and rescue teams over the coming hours, and, of course, these emergency supplies. I've just been told they're going to leave in about 5 minutes' time, so I'm just going to strap myself in. We'll fly at about 34,000 feet. This flight to Turkey, which will take off at about 1:30 in the morning, should be on the ground in Adana by about 6 in the morning. 5.5, 6 hours flight. As we approach Adana, we're told there's no room to land. The airport is full of international aid flights, so we reroute to Gaziantep, one of the worst hit cities. We've just arrived at our final destination. This is Gaziantep, which is the epicenter of Monday's 7.8 magnitude earthquake. So the search and rescue vehicles, the emergency supplies will now be taken off this, taken into the city and deployed to wherever they are needed most. And we're going to get out and find out what's going on in the city. The start of a Herculean international aid effort, providing relief to those desperately in need. And just here on one of the sites beside me earlier on today, Linda, to that point, a team from Kazakhstan helping the local search and rescue teams here. It is and will be a Herculean effort if anybody else is to be found alive in any of these sites here, or any of the sites obviously around Turkey and into northwest Syria as well. I'm going to move away from here because they're actually telling us that this building is liable to come down at some point, and obviously we're going to move as the rest of the people here are out of danger. Linda?
And Becky, the city where you are in Gaziantep is home to about 2 million people. How much of the city has been impacted by this earthquake?
It's interesting that you asked that question, because as we came in from the airport today, what we noted was actually many buildings which were completely, or certainly looked as if they were completely intact. As is always the way in earthquakes, you tend to get these pockets of destruction. And actually around those, you can't believe that the buildings, other buildings are actually still intact. That's not the case here, because all of these buildings are clearly in danger of coming down. But in other parts of the city, this is a new city, a relatively new city with relatively new buildings and built in a fairly robust fashion. And so many of the buildings here have actually survived. But sadly, that isn't the situation, for example, just north of here. We're very close to the epicenter. There's a town about 100 clicks away from here. The buildings are older, they're not as robust, and one of our colleagues, Nick Payton-Walsh, is there, and what he's observing is an awful lot of destruction across the entire city. So it really does depend where you are, how strong the buildings are, and where the quake actually occurred. This was, as I say, relatively close to the epicenter, but not everything here has been affected. Spare a thought, of course, for those in northwest Syria. We're reporting from Turkey, in northwest Syria, in Aleppo and in Idlib, The stories, the accounts that we're hearing, the reports that we're hearing are of real destruction. No electricity, no fuel, no water, no electricity, and people really struggling and not seeing anything like the sort of support that we are seeing here from the international community, although there is some support going in through Damascus at this point, but it's highly political and highly charged, of course.
Yeah, and we will be covering more on Syria this hour. Becky Anderson, our thanks to you and your team for what has been some very long days reporting in some very trying conditions. We appreciate it. Well, the International Rescue Committee is warning of catastrophic humanitarian needs in Syria and Turkey, and it is appealing to the International Committee to increase funding before it's too late. Countries around the world are pledging support. You can see here aid arriving from India. Now, the region already had poor infrastructure, and the earthquake has left many roads damaged, causing delays in aid deliveries.